Hello and welcome back to Continental Club, where we discuss the hottest topics in European football. And joining me today, I've got two of the hottest men on Football Daily.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, it's Michael McCubbin and James Wayne. How are you, gentlemen?
Yeah,
Good.
been called in at the last minute, as you can tell, because I'm not dressed for the
He's
occasion.
got his new shoes on, which
Got
is
my
the
new shoes
all-important thing. And we kick off today with the Has Kareem's question. Hello, mate.
Yeah.
He says, what are your thoughts on the Ajax and Barcelona youth link? Will this just make Ajax Barca's feeding club and dumping ground for their young players who don't get minutes? Will they prosper from this? And before I go over to James for a little bit of info on this, if you are new to this channel, welcome. Welcome aboard. Please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. But Jimbo, what's going on with this Ajax Barcelona thing?
Yeah, so Sport, which is a Barcelona-based publication, have revealed to a degree that there's been negotiations between Barcelona and Ajax that have gone on, as well as the Frenkie de Jong deal, that would kind of link the two teams in terms of signings. Kind of like a feeder club, not so much, but you know, like create a link between, I think Celtic and Manchester City have it, and there's like Vitesse Arnhem and Chelsea have a link kind of similar. It'll be very interesting just because of the fact that the stature of Ajax itself is a club that is in Europe. It's not. It's you know,
in the quarterfinals, yeah.
You know. So it's a bit strange that a club that big would be picking Barcelona. But apparently, yeah, the same publication has said that they preferred Barcelona to sign Frenkie de Jong rather than PSG, just because of the historic ties. You know, you've got Cruyff and the Dream Team, and you know there are historic links between the two clubs.
Philosophically linked.
Yeah, so it does make sense. And they've expressed that the fact that they've enjoyed their Ajax have enjoyed their exports going on to Barcelona and doing very well. So there seems to be quite a kind of romantic relationship between the two clubs. But if this does go through, I personally don't like this. It sounds weird. I don't mind it, but I don't like it. I think clubs should operate in their own way instead of, you know, giving off to specifically one club.
I agreed with you when I first heard about it, but I then found out that it's a first priority on signings. It's not an obligation. So they're just basically saying, you know, if Real Madrid and Barcelona want the same player, they'll sell to Barcelona if it comes at the same price.
Okay, that makes sense of just saying like it kind of mates rates in a way, but yeah, as long as it's not a feeder club.
I know what you mean. It's just what I think some Ajax fans will be like, why don't we just handle all our best
why don't we
talent?
just keep our players and become as good as Barcelona would be my thing as an Ajax fan.
Yeah, it's a difficult one though. I think you've also got to be realistic. And Ajax haven't been at that level for many years now. You know, they've obviously won the Champions League in the 90s, but it's difficult when the Eredivisie has kind of fallen behind a lot of, you know, the other big leagues in Europe. Obviously this season, you know, PSV and Ajax have been stronger than they have been in years.
It's a great title.
So you could argue that they're kind of knocking on the door of the top five, but in general, the last 20 years, Dutch football has fallen behind quite a bit. So it's hard to kind of be like, you know, if Barcelona offer you 80 mil for Frenkie de Jong, it's kind of like, well, that's actually better for us to invest in our infrastructure, invest in younger players who could become as good or if not better than Frenkie de Jong in the
fit the system. Kind of, they know the players that sign for Ajax are always going to fit the system.
So I mean, both the clubs, you know, Barcelona, you know, at least, you know, over the next 10 years or so, you can't really see Ajax having as high ambitions as Barcelona in that sense. But what is interesting is that like this could pave the way for, you know, De Ligt to go to Barcelona eventually, which is pretty crazy if they could get both those players in. Apparently there's reports saying 60 million euros.
I think that's quite cheap.
Which is pretty, like, I mean, at this moment in time, not necessarily cheap considering like kind of what the kind of bracket is for like world-class central defenders. If you think kind of Laporte, Van Dijk, it's kind of all in that bracket. But like if they were to progress further in the Champions League, if they were to win the Eredivisie, I'm sure Ajax could probably ask for more.
Yeah, I think
and also Mino Raiola's his agent. So.
That's the thing. You've got Mino Raiola, and you've also got the fact that he is a Golden Boy winner, and there hasn't been a Golden Boy winner who's been a defender for I don't know how many years.
Never.
You have to pull me up.
Never.
There's never been one.
Because it only started in 2003. So
I mean,
the
stature of the kid is. It's the fact that it's crazy calling him a kid, how good he actually is, and for 60 million in this day and age is a bit.
Do you think he'd be a good fit in the Cups?
Oh, definitely. I mean, like we said, the clubs obviously share philosophies. Frenkie de Jong, I think, will be an excellent fit, and De Ligt would be great too. Obviously, he's kind of been sounded out as a bit of a kind of PK replacement. I think he could easily be a better defender than PK in the long
Wow,
run. I would say.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, when you look at what he's achieved at 19, already club captain, he's captained them to a UCL quarter-final already. Was he? I don't know if he was captain when they got to the Europa League. I'm
No,
sure,
I
I'm
don't
assuming
think
not,
he was.
because he would have been
Inside.
like 17, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's silly. But yeah, so like yeah, and you look at his stats as well, like 2.6 tackles and interceptions per 90, 3.6 aerial duels won, 64% of those. He comes out on top in 64 passes a game, 88.5% pass accuracy. So all like room for
that's great
improvement.
passer.
But for a 19-year-old centre back playing in a team which is high on possession, yeah, I mean that's pretty top. But I think it's interesting though with these kind of reports. I don't know like what kind of relationship they're kind of trying to build here, because I feel like historically anyway Ajax have always kind of favoured Barcelona a little bit. Maybe there haven't been a huge amount of moves between the two clubs, but I kind of feel like it would only be natural for Ajax to want a player to move to Barcelona as opposed to Real Madrid, at least in the current state of things. Obviously you've had like Patrick Kluivert made the move 20 years ago, Michael Laudrup as well. So I don't know. I just feel like there's always been a bit of a shared thing between Ajax and Barcelona, even if it's not kind of been written out in front of us.
I remember when the De Jong transfer got confirmed, they did a list of all the players that have played for both, and I think it was 22 players that played for Ajax and Barcelona, including not just the ones that the Cubs mentioned, but the De Boer brothers. Who else?
Luis Suarez.
Neeskens, Cruyff, Jordi Cruyff, Luis Suarez, of course. Edgar Davids, the list goes on and on.
All very successful.
Very successful as well, and not necessarily direct transfers, but there's definitely a sort of a link historically. Zlatan, of course, and the De Ligt transfer is quite interesting in that it could pave the way for the other half of this deal that Barcelona and Ajax were sort of talking about, which is that Barcelona would loan out some of their players to gain first-team experience in the Eredivisie, which would actually work really well for Ajax. I mean, they've had some success with that in the past. I think Bojan went on quite this successful loan spell there. During when he was coming through, and if De Ligt went there, they've got Todibo and Murillo, which will need first-team minutes because they're not really going to get ahead of PK, Umtiti, Longley, and De Ligt if they go there. So it could work both ways. Carlos Alenia might need a loan move, Ricky Puig as well. I think there's a guy called Jorge Cuenca or something who's really highly thought of as well. So it could potentially work both ways. But yeah, at the moment we don't have that much information on it, and it's just it's important to say that it's sort of an unprecedented deal, where James was sort of hinting at earlier of the stature of these two clubs. But it's actually not that uncommon. I mean, look at Chelsea and Vitesse, and then the Man City group. You've got a club pretty much on every continent.
I mean, I think that's different to what this is. This is a club with, I know I might sound a bit harsh when saying this. This is a club with a massive fan base. Like Girona really hadn't got to the first team, La Liga, I should say, and most of the teams they're picking are countries filled with kind of, let's say, Premier League or La Liga supporters of the majority of that country.
So it's more brand purposes rather than like feeding players wise?
Well, and a bit of both, but the fact that they've bought clubs specifically for that and kind of taken them over, where this is a club who stand on their own, in the top of European football at the moment anyway, and have historically been successful by themselves, giving it to a club that just in this moment, yes, are better and have been for the last kind of 10, 15 years. But really, like, if I was an Ajax fan, I'd understand the link because that's always been there. But I'd be pissed off at the fact, the formality of it, saying kind of, well, are we now just bowing down to Barcelona?
There was talks of this.
Originally, it was Ajax, let's say, who gave them Cruyff. So, I mean, if I was an Ajax fan, I'd think, okay, we gave them that, and now they're just kind of going to.
Yeah, there was talks of this a few years ago between Spurs and Real Madrid, a sort of informal sort of agreement on transfers when Modric and Bale went through, and I don't think that ever came into something paper, as in official. But yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, only in the Man City group, I think you signed Daniel Alzani from Melbourne City. I think that's the only work.
The only one I really know is Moy, but he was just money making. We got him in from Australia, and then
have you loaned out that guy called Harrison to
we have
New
loaned.
York City?
We've loaned a lot, and we also have. There's a team in the Eredivisie who we have a link with, and I can't quite remember their name, but we do send our loan players out to other teams. We have that link, but I don't think we have such a feeder like this would be.
Such a system. Right, so there you have it. That's our take on Barcelona and Ajax's possible new arrangement. Let's move on to our big match preview because it's a cracker. Before we get stuck into our big match preview, I have a very special announcement. The Football Blogging Awards voting is now open. This exact channel, Eurofootball Daily, won Best International Channel last year, but we're hoping to go for even more this year. We're hoping to go for quite a few categories, and the categories we are in are on the screen now. Yeah. Please vote for these.
Including...
I hope the graphics here, otherwise I'll just look a bit silly.
Including non-league.
Including non-league vlogs, definitely. Best podcast, something like established creator. Vote for
channels.
All of these things. Best Twitter account, that sort of thing. So please vote for that. Voting finishes on Sunday. Please do that. Give something back to the people that have given you so much.
Bit of leg content.
And we'll dive straight into our big match preview this weekend, which is England versus Czechoslovakia, unsurprisingly, which takes place at 7:45 tonight at Wembley. It's actually just the third time that they've met internationally. The first being a 2-0 victory to England in 1998. Followed by a 2-2 draw in 2008. But this is actually the first time they've met competitively. Wow. And the Czechs have a great record when it comes to qualifying for European tournaments. They've been to every tournament since European Championship, I should say. They've been to every tournament since changing from the Czechoslovakia. And they actually haven't been to a World Cup since 2006, so they're specialists in qualifying for the Euros, whereas England obviously failed to make Euro 2008, which is still a bit of a stain in our recent history. But this is a big game in terms of Group A. So it's England, Czech Republic, Bulgaria, Montenegro and Kosovo, which is, so this arguably means that it's the grudge match of the group. Obviously England are already guaranteed a playoff spot because they were topped their UEFA Nations League, obviously beating Spain 3-2 away and Croatia 2-1 at home, and they obviously won their recent friendly against the US 3-0 as well. So England go into this full of confidence. But what's the team looking like, Jim?
Yeah, Rashford has been ruled out. It was a bit of a scare yesterday, and then later on in the day they've confirmed that he won't be playing because he picked
a few withdrawals for this.
Yeah, he picked up an injury apparently in the Liverpool game, and then has been playing on it. And so I think it is sensible to give him some time
as well.
I mean, there's no point in harming him further. So I do think this is a sensible thing to, especially for Rashford and what Man United are trying to do right now. But that does give the opportunity for Jadon Sancho to come in, which will be his first competitive start for England, which I would be ecstatic about. I think he is, completely deserved. He's like the first Englishman in the top 5 leagues to reach 10 assists this season.
Lovely stuff.
So, I mean, he's burst onto the scene. Hopefully he can burst onto the international scene, because I think that we've always had a few youngsters that have come along, usually in the attacking areas, and have really shone every now and again. I think Jadon Sancho could be that guy for because he's just phenomenal.
Possibly coming off the bench as well, maybe.
Well, that's the thing. Him and Declan Rice also have their first call-up, so an opportunity for them to actually get their first caps, which is extremely exciting. Both of them very exciting talents. Obviously, Declan Rice changing his allegiances, so I like that a lot. Kane and Ali.
The less said about his post this week, the better.
Well, we'll just breeze over that. Kane and Ali, both back fit.
Lovely.
I don't want them to be rushed back. I know I'm a Man City supporter, so it'd be funny to see Tottenham do worse. Sorry, Danny. But I mean, I think for them, it is the most important international game we've got coming up, and I do think we should rest them, because I mean, you look at the group, we should be smashing it anyway. And
wait, so you want them rested for tonight?
I do want them rested for tonight. Because I do think we have options absolutely everywhere. You can even play Sterling in the middle with, I mean, this is very experimental, but Sterling in the middle with Hudson-Odoi and Jadon Sancho.
Ooh,
I mean, there's so much pace in that team, and the fact that, if you can just get the ball to the byline with them two, we know that Sterling gets in those areas around the 6-yard box just to knock it in. So, I mean, the one problem that I will have with this England team is, it's probably hurt your ears a bit, Pickford. Now, is Pickford the right choice for England's #1 shirt? I think it's a close debate. I do think Tom Heaton must feel a little bit upset the fact that he isn't returning for that. And it does feel like Pickford will start this game.
I was reading this morning that Pickford said that Gareth Southgate talked to him this week and has confirmed that he'll start tonight, and he's still England's #1. Yeah. My take on Pickford is that he was never as good as people made out, and he's not as bad as people make out at the moment. He's just he's a solid top 8 goalkeeper. Yeah. He's not in the top 4 in the Premier League.
The one thing that concerns with him is his mistakes. He is obviously prone to making mistakes, and obviously with England, the way the fans and the media treat the players, a person who makes a lot of mistakes on the
Especially
pitch.
as a goalkeeper, we've had bad history.
Exactly,
With that.
and they could really come back to bite him, personally and kind of mentally. So obviously I wish him the bell. Obviously I wish him the best and wish him well. That's what I was trying to do.
I love that, wish him well.
Wish him well. And but it does concern me the fact that there is a potential mistake in him. And obviously I don't want to see that as a fan and someone who does like Pickford as a person.
And McCubs, what do you make of our opponents tonight? I know you've been behind enemy lines, scouting away.
I have, mate. In the week building up to Brexit, I've been crossing borders, and I've managed to make it back alive from Prague. I'm an expert on the Czech Republic. On the basis of the 4 points I've got in front of me. But actually, the Czech Republic, obviously, I loved the Czech Republic team from kind of like 2003, 2004.
Thomas
Rosický, Pavel Nedvěd, Jan Koller up top. One of the great tall target men of his time. But they've kind of obviously fallen off a bit since then, but have been in very good form recently. New manager Jaroslav Silový took over in September. Sorry if I mucked up that pronunciation.
Sounded good though.
But he's taken charge of 4 games so far. He's only lost 1. He's won the other 3, and they've all been quite kind of tasty affairs as well. They've beaten Slovakia, former I don't know what you say,
they used
to be them
former countrymen.
But they beat Slovakia home and away in the UEFA Nations League, and beat Poland away in the UEFA Nations League as well. And we all know Poland are not an easy team to play against,
particularly in qualifying.
And I think that their one loss was against Ukraine away. Good form at the moment. They've got a few notable players. I think Thomas Vashlik, the Sevilla keeper, in goal.
Nice
Pavel Kaderabek, the Hoffenheim right back or right wing back. I don't know what system the Czechs play, but and then obviously up front they've got Patrick Schick and Mate Vidra, obviously of Burnley. So there's some areas of strength there for sure, and there's definitely ways in which they could hurt the England side. Vidra came out recently and said that Harry Maguire is the man to target for the Czech Republic, which is interesting.
I know players recently have just been started being
like,
I know your weakness. Babel and Van Dijk started something.
Wasn't Maguire sent off against Burnley as well? I think I think that's really early in the game. So I think that's why he's come out and said just to kind of get in his head a little bit. I do like that. And
Vidra could be coming up against Tarkowski as well.
Ooh, we know each other, so that'd be interesting.
But I think that's we do discuss England at length on Sunday Vibes. So go, wait for that if you want a bit more of an in-depth look at just the state of England in general at the moment. But I think that is kind of maybe our area of weakness. Obviously, with Stones out as well, those centre-back positions, and obviously if Pickford's in goal and he's not, been in the best form of recent times. But so I feel like that could be the area of weakness. Obviously, they've got 2 pretty decent centre forwards. Obviously, Vidra hasn't really done it in the Premier League, but he is a decent centre forward in a game like this. I wouldn't be taking it for granted. Also, the Czech Republic fans are going all out. I actually saw a load of them at Victoria Station about 8 this morning.
Nice, I like that.
Just arriving back from Prague, straight into
in fact, we were on the same flight. No, but they were already kitted out. In their football shirts, in the hats, in the trackies.
A kozel in hand? Is it called a kozel? That Czech beer?
Kozel. They didn't, but I could have said it just for the content, but so I reckon they'll be up for it. And I think it's sell-out as well, so I reckon it'll be a really good atmosphere.
Really good atmosphere.
I've never seen any football fans, 15 hours before kickoff already
gearing up.
I do like that,
especially at rush hour as well. They must have really regretted
caused mayhem on the London.
And it'll be interesting. I mean, England have such a good recent record in qualifying as well. I think they're unbeaten in the last 18 games.
They are. In fact, they've won the last 10 in a row. Got that down here as well. But no, they haven't. And in Euro qualifiers, we actually haven't lost since that night at Wembley with the Wally and the Brolly.
Really?
What a fateful night that was.
Yeah, so long. Well, 12 years ago.
Christ.
So that's pretty amazing. It's funny. Southgate's got a very good home win percentage, 66.7%. Pretty decent. Kind of what you'd expect though with this kind of current England side. Hodgson actually has the best with nearly
Podgy.
80%.
Super Roy.
Exactly.
Love
And Capello has a pretty good one as well. So we've actually been pretty good at Wembley in recent years. And yeah, Harry Kane, 15 in his last 17 for England, which is ridiculous.
That is electric. Crazy.
So yeah, I think England should be comfortable in this game, but I wouldn't write.
Yeah.
Let's have a score prediction. The Cubs.
I'm going to say 3-1 to
Oh.
the Three Lions.
I was thinking along the same, but I have to be different, so I'm going to go 3-0.
Oh, very different.
I'm going to go an absolute battering. I think it's going to be 5-1.
Oh,
England. Yeah.
Oh, well, wait till we lose. Wait till we
Is
lose.
Jadon Sancho going to get one?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
why
so
not?
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
Jadon
sweet.
Sancho.
Hudson-Odoi off the bench with an assist as well.
Stick a
lovely.
fiver on that.
And Maguire is going to poleaxe Vidra.
Oh, yeah.
Early
I
doors.
wouldn't wish that on
But
there.
it will
Did-
go
there was a quote.
unnoticed.
There was a quote saying that Vidra saying, "Oh, we're going to kick him a few times."
Yeah.
So it could be a feisty game. So
I love
you know,
that. I love
a
that.
few sendings off.
But yeah, there we have it, our big
That's a
match
good one.
preview. And unfortunately, we don't have time for quick-fire questions today, because what you don't know is that we filmed this a couple of times. We've had a few technical errors. So we've got to get this out before
That's why I'm here.
sometime this evening. So yeah,
Hopefully before the England game.
hopefully before the England game. Otherwise, what we've just been talking about is completely pointless. So we'll roll straight into the end board. McCubs, anything you'd like to push to this weekend?
Stat Wars, the league is out
Yes.
tomorrow. Myself versus Chris Hamill. A good showdown.
Yep.
It's definitely worth the watch. Maybe not my finest hour, but I won't.
Oh,
give
don't ruin anything.
Yeah, I won't ruin it any more than that. And also, I believe Educating Jalab is going out this weekend on
believe so.
FDFC. He
Looking
tried
forward
to
to
actually take. He did a challenge with Harry Kane's striking coach.
Someone
so,
Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bag of
there
laughs,
we go.
Mr. Russell.
Remember to vote. That's quite important. We'd love
Yes.
to win a few more awards. Be a fun
Yeah,
occasion for us.
Let's get non-league vlogs to win the a clean
Yeah,
sweep.
yeah.
Let's do it.
Get me in an actual pair of trousers. That'd be nice.
I think I'll
Still
actually
with these
cry
shoes,
if that
though.
happens.
Yeah.
Please, let's have tears from the Cubs and Wayne. Vote in, the links for that is in the description below, so do that. Thanks very much for watching, guys. We shall see you next time. Bye.